heavy, bored.
They got like their own shit. They just all have Speedway. Speedways
But I
everywhere.
was, yeah, and I was thinking about this kind of like, what is it about Christmas? And I was thinking, yeah, we said food. I said, but I'm nostalgic and I really enjoy Christmas packaging on products.
Oh yeah.
I really enjoy Christmas advertising. Coca-Cola's probably the king.
That's what I mean. It's
of
all that
that
shit. It's just all of that
yeah.
shit.
It's the most wonderful
Like, I mean, even as like a little
time.
Jewish girl, I remember I had like a Madeline doll, and I had like the Christmas version.
The Madeline Christmas. Was that one of your favorites?
I mean, I liked.
I mean,
I don't know. I had the books.
But did you the movie like the TV version? It's like 25-minute Madeline Christmas.
Oh, I don't remember.
That was one of my favorites growing up. Yeah,
because I remember like Madeline's Rescue, and I like remember the original. In fact, I think I still have Madeline's Rescue.
Madeline's Christmas was one of my favorites. I would watch it with my sister.
But yeah, I had the Christmas doll. My sister had the original doll.
We're going home for the holidays. Like that's the song from like the Madeline because
I feel like I do remember that. Yeah,
the boarding school kids. Yeah.
Yeah, I do remember.
And then they have like the magic woman that brings like the bread over.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and she's like, yeah.
Oh yeah.
And they all get sick for the holidays. Everybody likes that movie. I like that movie. There's some good songs. But yeah, there's just something about it. Like these I'm like the packaging, the advertisements, the Coca-Cola Santa Claus, the Coca-Cola bear.
The whole atmosphere of it. It's like, cause.
But like, what is that? You know, like I'm trying to. I mean, I know that we're going to come up with an answer on this fucking podcast, but I just mean like the question. I just keep begging the question. Yeah, red and green. Yeah.
You know, it's just. I mean, fucking. It's the sounds, it's the smells, it's the flavors, it's like all of these seasonal things
that remind us of the spirit. This thing that we can't touch. We can't even like. Sophie and I can't even say what it is. Like we don't know. Like we can't even fucking articulate it. But all these things add up to this little feeling inside of maybe just a tiny feeling of it, maybe a large feeling for some. But I don't know. But there's just something about the way that we've had Christmas kind of as a tradition for so many years that like it's been enveloped into every aspect of our culture that I enjoy. I started listening to Christmas. My wife and I put our tree up. We were like putting on Christmas music. I put on Charlie Brown Christmas. For some reason, and now because of Charlie Brown Christmas, I always associate this type of jazz with like this kind of like with Christmas because of the Vince Guaraldi trio music. And it's
I mean, I even remember like, you know, like visiting like my grandma in New York, you know, and going to see the tree and like going ice skating and like all of that shit. I also especially like I can see like for my parents why they'd be really nostalgic about it too, just because they grew up in New York.
It's a big deal. Yeah, we do the community trees. We do the community light projects. You know, Sophie and I grew up in Baltimore. There's I mean, this is almost every city, but there's a famous street in Baltimore on 34th Street, like the movie Miracle on 34th Street, where they do. It's basically if you move into that neighborhood in Baltimore, you basically
you're signing
a contract where it's like you have to take Christmas decorations very seriously.
Very seriously. And I mean like you might break your neck seriously.
Right.
Like,
and they string the lights from house to house across the street. So you're like it's like a group effort with like neighbors. You have to like combine.
And you've probably seen this in your city or like, you know.
Yeah, I think every city has, and it's usually 34th Street because of the movie and the legend around it. So like they'll do something like that. And it's a big thing. I remember as a kid
it was
driving
awesome.
through that.
And they would hand out like hot cocoa and shit.
Yeah,
I don't know if they do all that anymore.
They did back in the 90s before like this scare of like you're going to be poisoned by your Halloween candy and like all that kind of shit.
They're putting razors in the candy.
Yeah. They're putting like drugs in the candy.
They're going to drug your kids.
Yeah. But
People
it used to be
giving
like
out pennies.
Yeah, pennies or like grocery store cookies, like whatever.
That was such bullshit. No one wanted your grocery store cookies. That was also bullshit.
Well, I mean, for Christmas time.
Yeah, bullshit.
Yeah, but yeah, you know, and that's like a big tradition. So like, if 1 year, let's say, they didn't do that on 34th Street, like there would be fucking upheaval. Like people would be pissed.
And the alcohol,
like,
dude. It's like a constant excuse to be like drunk for just like 25 days.
Yeah, and people would literally, like, I remember waiting in the car. We would drive through that street, and my parents taking me every year when I was little, and we would go down there, and I couldn't wait to see how bright that fucking
Oh,
block, just that one block of Baltimore City was so fucking
It's
bright,
small.
dude. And like, yeah, it's very small. It's one block, like,
Yeah.
but it's that 34th Street block where you're just like lights strung across from the houses. You're like in a winter wonderland. You're underneath the lights. They're over top of you. There's the famous hubcap tree is the one big thing that somebody made a tree out of hubcaps in like the 50s, and they've just been doing it ever since down in the 34th Street celebration. New York, like Sophie said, the tree lighting is a big deal. It's almost up there with the New Year's Eve thing where you go see the tree get lit up this year, like kind of thing.
Yeah, it doesn't even have to be like go see it, get it, get lit up. It could just be like go see the fucking tree. You know,
how massive it is, how
go
big,
ice skating.
Right. It takes up
know?
this huge space, this central space in New York, like this. Yeah, and honestly, there is
well, and and cities, it's just like lights everywhere. Especially if like your city does it well, they put up lights downtown.
There's actually a story when I was driving through Louisiana, and I was actually driving through bumfuck Louisiana into bumfuck Texas, because the GPS was taking us around Houston to avoid traffic. So I was driving at like 2 a.m. And through like the dark rural part of Texas, East Texas. Probably a little bit north of Houston. And it was like in the middle of nowhere in December. My wife and I were on this one highway, 2-lane, Texas road. And out of nowhere, this house that took lighting very seriously, like a rural house, had like this winter wonderland set up. Like it was just lights in the middle of this dark rural area. And they had it so that you could pull off and walk through it. It was like literally like they did it for the public to like walk through this light show.
That's
and
awesome.
my wife and I pulled over, and there were a couple other cars like pulling over. It's like 2 a.m. Like there's like, and there's nothing but these bright, beautiful lights in the middle of this black, Texas night. And it was just, it was 2 a.m. We were just driving through, and we stopped. It made us stop and just look at these lights. Like, look at how great this is. Take pictures, whatever it is. Now we all have phones. There was just something about it. Like, man, that person put in that effort, and it looks good. Like, I don't know. Something about it. Something that draws us to this. Maybe it is just very basic human psychology, like shiny things, or
yeah,
whatever,
I mean, I think it's all that shit that makes us happy, and just like enough people say yes to it. It's like, everyone's gonna, like, enough people have just like said, yes, we are doing this, and now it's like a group thing.
Right. A collective.
And
That's a very good point.
It gives you a sense of community. I mean, it's the same thing with
collective.
like, we're all pushed inside. Like, you can't sit outside at Starbucks and like sit there and work. And that's something like I do, right? Like
Starbucks
I
Christmas
go
cups. Yeah.
and fucking sit outside at, and Starbucks fucking flavors, dude.
Right. The flavors. Yes.
Putting peppermint and everything. It's great. I love it. Bill
but the
hates it.
collective. You're right. Like the collective.
I mean,
like,
that's what it is. You're pushed closer to other people.
And this is why I got at the tradition too, because not just collective. So, okay, I could be in Baltimore City on 34th Street. I could be in rural bumfuck Texas driving on a 2-lane highway and see the same collective energy. People putting up it's everywhere. I could go to Europe. I could go to France. I could go to England, and they're doing the same collective energy around this time.
Well,
like,
and there's a sense of this is for everyone.
Right.
Right.
And it's a
like you put up lights.
thing. Yeah.
Because everyone likes it.
Inner.
Resources, American resources.
Being bored,
Some activities are intentional, right?
it shows such a lack
Heavy.
of gratitude for life. Bored. I aspire to boredom, I
Heavy.
should say.
Bored. Heavy.
I am heavy.
Bored.
Has you the night sweats and the day sweats, pal? Pal, I do.